When Jesus was on the earth, he went around telling people about God's love and explaining the Bible and what God's plans were. And sometimes he went into like the temple or a local synagogue, which is like our church, and sometimes he just traveled from town to town talking to people. And whenever he was in an area, because people had heard so much about him and his healing people and the things that he did, people would just flock to where he was to listen to him. On this particular day of the story we're talking about today, he was out sort of away from many towns, but people had just flocked into where he was to listen to him teach. And he had taught them most of the day. And at one point in the afternoon, the disciples came to him and they said, Jesus, we're a ways from any towns or any food, and these people are going to start getting hungry, and you need to send them home or send them to go get food. And Jesus looked at the disciples and he said, well, you feed them. And they said, we don't have enough food to feed them. They're like 5,000 people here. And so Jesus said, well, why not? And they said, well, we don't have, that would be a year's worth of salary. What can we do? And Jesus says, well, how much food do you have? And there was a little boy, and the little boy had his dinner that his mom had probably fixed for him. It was 5 loaves of bread, little loaves of bread, and 2 fishes. And he brought that to the disciples and said, here, at least this is something, maybe it can be used and spread to a few people to help feed them. And so Jesus took that food. And the Bible says that he took that food and he blessed it. He thanked God for it, and he probably thanked God for what was going to happen that day, because something very special happened. And the Bible says that he took the food and he started breaking it up and spreading it out to people and giving it to more and more baskets and passing those baskets out. He had told the disciples to have all the men sit down, all the people sit down in groups of 50 and 100 people. And the Bible says that there were 5,000 men there, plus women and children. And so that's a lot of people to feed. And so he started dividing the bread up, and the fish he would tear up, and they passed it out, and they passed it out, and they passed it out. And when they were finished passing it out, and everyone had had something to eat, in fact, people had more than enough to eat. They were full. They were good. Jesus said, okay, we don't want to waste any of the food, so gather up all the leftovers. And the Bible says that that the disciples gathered 12 baskets full of fish and bread that were left over. Isn't that amazing? You know, the thing that we can learn a couple of things from this story. First, that Jesus had power to multiply food, to make things work. He had the power to, just by his command, cause things to multiply. It also means that Jesus was concerned with what was going on with the people, that they were hungry, just like he's concerned about you and me and what we go through in our daily lives and what we have and what we need. It also tells us about a little boy who was willing to share. And because he shared, 5,000 people were blessed with food, which tells all of us that we just need to learn to share what we have with others. And it's amazing what God can do with it. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I hope you enjoyed the story. Be safe and take care. Bye-bye.